know this is a good idea to kind of blind people out here. Can you just reduce? I can't see anyone because I want to be here. Okay, good afternoon, guys. First of all, acknowledge the fact that we are extremely delayed. We are running very, very late. I can't even we can't say that we are running late. We are crawling late. And I promise you, on behalf of all of you, we will wrap this up in max 20 minutes. Seriously, if earlier, we'll try to do that. So my request to you panelists is that very crisp 1 or 2 sentence answers to questions. And let's go firing on that, right? And as usual, I would need your assistance in terms of, kind of making this interactive. So on stage, we've got 3 retailers and 2 service providers. Quite an even match. So we have a .com ticket, please. We have the mobile store, which is into this business of selling us all the fancy mobiles. We've got Tesco India, and then we've got the 2 gentlemen flanking Tesco India. Hopefully they'll take care of this technology needs as well, right? So very quickly, Kunal, what does mobility mean to you? 3 sentences. What does mobility mean to you?
I think mobility for a brick-and-mortar store to start with really means an extension of what you're providing to your customers. It means giving more capability to the customers and the organization to interact with each other and kind of build up on the partnership over a period of time.
Chirantan, he mentioned about customers. Does it apply to employees as well?
Certainly. Actually, if you see mobility, it has to be enterprise-wide, solution. Mobility is the future. It's the smarter, working culture. The internal customer, which is enterprise, is equally or even, more important for every case, practically.
Okay. Kunal, I'm sure it applies to you as well, right?
Absolutely.
On the enterprise front. Does it apply to you, Vikrant?
Well, I would not say my internal customers have a very small requirement compared to my external customers because basically I am omnipresent across wherever the ticketing can happen. So the mobility in terms of, yes, I do agree with what Chirantan is saying that it has to be enterprise-wide. But when it comes to a .com, the limitation of the internal customers are there. But with external, it has to be in a very larger scenario.
Okay. Jason, we've heard these gentlemen talking about both the internal as well as the external customers as being your mobility targets. Do you see the same in the markets that you operate in?
Yes, very much so. We're seeing many customers look at our technologies to try and gain more from them, more from the technology itself through the convergence. We saw earlier the team talk about how retailers are looking to bring together and give more information to their customers. We're being able to do that through our technologies using one platform. So we're talking to our retailers with the solutions of creating one technology, but to be able to enable and give more information to the retailer and retail customers on the shop floor.
Thanks, Jason. Now, let's get on to brass tacks. You are part of a hypermarket chain, and you look after .com, right? Please give us 2 examples of how you adopted mobility. Not how you want to adopt mobility, but how you have adopted mobility as of today.
So we at Star Bazaar, what we've done is we're about to launch a mobile app in about 2 to 3 weeks' time. The reason for the whole delay was to really understand what the customer is expecting out of a mobile app from a hypermarket scenario. You don't want to be in a situation where you create an app which is available in dime and dozens in the business without understanding what the customer is expecting out of you. So for us, when we did that survey with our customers, what we realized is that they really want to understand, one, where, what's available to them as per their buying patterns. Also because we are a food chain, for them to understand more in terms of being health conscious. So you want your health tips and you want your styling tips and a lot of other things along with that. So understanding the customer experience and what is their expectations is very important. And also because we're getting omni-channel as we go forward, we're also getting into the e-commerce part of it towards the end of this year. So the end-to-end experience for the customer to be able to come to your store and at the same time be able to extend that outside of a store to convey to his need, cater to his need becomes very important.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're talking of an app which could be
More on the loyalty side of it.
more on the loyalty side of
That's
things.
right.
Vikrant, where have you used mobility?
For me, the mobility or as a consumer means that I have to be present whenever the decision is going to happen. Now, in my kind of a scenario, since I belong more towards the entertainment sector, the decisions are usually taken on the fly that, okay, fine, if you want to watch a movie over a weekend or a weekday, so it is a couple of discussions that happen and the booking process starts. Now, at that point of time, my consumer actually knows which movie, what location, and usually the question is about the timings, like, what time do I choose, and then the payment options. So, for me, I feel that the mobile app which I would be creating and the website which I have created on the mobile has to be a fast website, at the same time has to give information in a very, very clear manner so that the person doesn't digress from not booking with me and going elsewhere. That is part one. Now, the second part is, if I am able to populate my booking engine into every mobile phone, it would make my sales better. Say, if I am talking about a mobile app versus a web view. So that is where the difference would come in. I will have to create apps for every, and then the maintenance also becomes, because yesterday I was mentioning to Kunal that I look myself as a commodity provider with the smallest shelf life. Like my shelf life of the product begins on a Friday, and by Sunday it is stale. Monday it is gone, and sometimes, very earlier to that also. So in that kind of a scenario, maintaining and refreshing the app also takes a lot of time. So I have to, like I said, I have to keep it small, crisp, and that's where I am coming to.
Okay. Now, Chirantan, you're in the business of selling mobiles and services.
Right.
Right? So where does mobility feature for you?
So the way we see it, first thing is that we are on the technology forefront from both end, correct? From selling mobile phone where technology changes maybe every month or every 2 months, correct? Right to the level is that how do we give mobility experience to our customer, our enterprise? So our angle is good 360-degree angle. We have already done VOID for our employees, correct? We are creating a task-based mobile service which will enable them to complete their work, be it booking the ticket, approval of leaves, approval of the travel request. Everything is a task, correct? Practically, if they are able to do that, that's going to increase the efficiency of the enterprise multifold. From customer point of view, we are doing two things. We are launching our m-commerce app pretty soon. Primary focus is that rather than selling mobile, people need recharge at the fly. In the night 11:30, your mobile has gone out of balance, correct? Quick this thing recharge from any of those service provider. Also, we are working on MPOS. The feature not being to only help our stores, but also to have the suggestive selling, which is the entire 360 view of having the mobility experience around for everybody in the enterprise.
But I'm sure, despite the fact that the gentlemen on stage are kind of reeling out stuff that they are doing in mobility, I'm sure it's not an easy journey, right? So, Wayne, have you seen hurdles towards achieving one's own mobility dreams, across the countries that you operate in?
Have we seen hurdles? That's just the simplest definition to that is yes. The advice that I would be giving any of these gentlemen sitting here or in the audience is the piece of information that is needed is what the customer needs, how they need it, when and where they need it. Don't think about complexity, think about simplified information. To me, that's what mobility is. The biggest failings are complexity. Watching somebody who's got a great web-based application try to put that down to a mobile device and completely, and excuse the language, screwing it up. They've got too much data, too much information because they want it to look and feel like their internet presence, when their mobile presence should be the information their customer needs now. And make sure it's cross-platform, absolutely cross-platform. Anybody who's looking at mobility at the moment, don't, and I'm sorry to our friends Microsoft outside, Don't stick to one platform. Ensure what you're developing can work on every platform.
You talked of content. You talked of the kind of the burning desire to cram a lot of content into it. But then, if you are a service provider, aren't you also responsible in some way in terms of getting some sanity into the whole stuff?
Absolutely. You need to look at where that sits. I'm meaning a lot of my time is spent actually talking with customers about what their real problem is. And that's where I think that internally when people are developing applications, they don't actually understand what the business requirement is or what their customer requirement is. They say, we're going to do it from here. No offence to the IT people, but IT can really and truly screw things up because they want to make it a fit to an appliance. Talk to what marketing needs. They're the people whose budget is really where IT is getting their money from now. It's what the marketing people need. It's that presence and that information. And as a service provider to our customers, that's what we'll do. We were sitting talking last night to a couple of people, and it's about how to think outside the square and what we're trying to do. Don't make it complex. Try to make it simpler and easier.
Jason, how many times have you come close to exchanging blows with the customer just because what the customer wanted was like not quite the right thing to do?
Say that again, sorry.
How often have you come close to exchanging blows?
We try not to come to blows at Honeywell.
Okay. There's a lot of money involved.
I think we work very closely with our customers. What we try and do is try and get an understanding of what their goals and objectives are. And many of them are saying to us now that with the technology, they're trying to get the additional sales, and how can they do that? We've been working them very closely, especially within the region, at exploring home delivery. A lot of people are talking about omnichannel now, but it's how they can actually generate sales through the omnichannel. And there's a lot of talk at the moment about the last mile, and many people using the technology to gain an additional sale in the last mile. So when they actually deliver a product at the customer may have purchased a food batch, and on the back of that, we have got the technology now that can actually increase the sale by offering them a bottle of wine, for instance. So offering an extra product to increase sales, by talking to retailers, that's the feedback we're getting, and that's what we're working with today.
So to the three retailers on stage, you want to add something to it?
Yeah, Raju, one of the challenges what we face whenever we go on to
Guys,
mobility
this is
journey,
warming up. This is
right?
warming up.
Other than security, is an obvious thing is attention span, correct? With mobility, the attention space as well as the attention timeline, what you get from the customer, right? So you have only limited space to crunch your information. You can't put all the information because it will not get intuitive, it will not look good, correct? And correct.
I was just going to say, if it takes greater than 30 seconds to download, you've lost them already.
You've lost
you
them,
need
correct.
to have that instant impact of what comes through and then bring down that data, 100%.
Yes, exactly. And the guy will not look at your content more than 3-4 seconds before he moves. That's the biggest challenge what we are facing.
Make that instantaneous presence, that first presence, has to buy them. They have to jump in on that.
Here I will add, this is exactly what when I was building my website on the mobile, this was the crux of the matter that I had kept in mind. That's, there has to be, first of all, like I said, my consumer knows what ticket does he want to buy or what. So he does not have much of choice left to himself. So, and the decision making has to happen within that 10 clicks wherein, he chooses whatever he wants in the particular location and picks up the product. So, like I said, most of the apps which I have, I use the other way around. They bombard a lot of information. So, it becomes actually tedious to zoom in, zoom out to read that data.
High definition graphics on a mobile application. That's insane. Why anybody's doing it? You're using download, you're using data utilization, and you're taking time. That's the optimization, is taking and looking at what the device can do.
So I'll need a binary answer from the three retailers out there. Yes or no, right? App or browser?
App.
Browser.
App. Interesting. Because a couple of them went in for app. Why did you pick up an app over a browser?
I think
I'll probably change it to both the things from a brick and mortar perspective. One, because the app is something which we would want to use from the perspective of sharing more information to the customer and all of that.
Now, if it was your first mobility initiative, what would it be?
I think it would be an app for sure.
It would be an app. Why a browser, Vikrant? Quick, 2 sentences.
One, I can keep on updating data. Secondly, I am not pursuing the consumer to download the app before actually he experiences it. I can always create a web view and put it into his phone.